Welcome to this section, how to prepare a character for animation. In this lesson, we will check a finished character in Illustrator that is ready for animation. Okay? Now that you know the basic theory of character design, we can move on to prepare your designs for animation. You will learn how to do that by following the next couple of tutorials that explain the process step by step in detail. But please note that for this course, I assume you already know how to use Adobe Illustrator. If not, then you definitely need to check our course Adobe Illustrator Essentials for Character Design, in which I cover all the basics of this software. That course is for beginners. And this course is for intermediate users that already know how to trace characters in Illustrator. Anyway, if you are a beginner with a busy schedule who doesn't want to take the beginner's course and feel brave to tag along in an intermediate course, well then welcome, and know that I will go through the whole process step by step, but without explaining the different features Illustrator has to offer. Okay? All good? Great. Let me show you then what we will accomplish at the end of this course. Okay, this is Brad, and he is ready to be animated because we have each part of his body separated for the cutout technique discussed in the introduction of this course. Right now, you might be overwhelmed because all of the layers that compose this character. Thousands of layers. If you are intimidated, don't be. Right now, it can look scary because there are too many layers, but we will start from having nothing, a complete blank new document in Illustrator with only your first empty layer, and then follow step by step to this finished character. Having the character systematically ordered in different layers will make it easier for us to rig it inside After Effects. Check this out. This is After Effects, and this is the character we designed in Illustrator, what you're going to learn. And now it's completely rigged and ready for animation. All these drawings, all this time, all this preparation you're going to invest will get you to do exactly this. We can change to the different hands easily. Every single one of those hands was a layer in Illustrator. You can change his face, use different eyes, use different mouths for the lip sync. And because we have all the layers ready and systematically ordered, I can move this character very easily. This is cutout animation. But to be able to do this rig, we first need to be able to prepare this character in Adobe Illustrator. So in short, we will start from scratch, from an empty layer, and then little by little add the head, the body, the arms and legs, the different hands, and so on. So we can later have it ready for animation in After Effects. Again, this course only covers the preparation inside Illustrator. If you want to know how to rig your character after you finish this course, then don't worry. I will give you the links for you to check the rigging training courses we have available here at 2danimation101.com. You will have those links at the end of this course as a bonus lesson. Anyway, let's move on to the next lesson in which I will show you in detail why we need this character divided by parts. Because I want you to understand not only the process, but also I want you to understand why it works. See you in the next lesson. Body breakdown. In the last lesson, we saw what we will accomplish after going through all the tutorials. And in here, I will show you why we need the character divided in so many layers. The truth is, we could draw the entire character in one single layer. That would be super simple. Or maybe just have 6 layers. 2 for the arms, 2 for the legs, 1 for the body, and another for the head. That would be so manageable, right? 6 layers. Super simple, right? And you could use the puppet pin tool to flex the legs and arms, right? Yeah, it would be easier to manage, but you would be so limited too. What I'm going to teach you is how to build a complex character with a lot of movement. And for that, we need to have a lot of options. We need different mouths. We need different hands, different feet. And that takes time to draw, trace, and paint inside Illustrator. We will give this character a way to move and flex his arms. You can do this with either the puppet pin tools or by having the arm and forearm in different layers, which is a bit simpler. That's the way we are going to be designing this character, by having it on different layers. The basic rig would have at least 16 layers, 3 for each arm, 3 for each leg, 3 for the body, and 1 layer for the head. But if you want your character to have facial expressions, then you need more layers. Now, if we want different options for the hands and mouth, then in total there will be 48 layers. What? 48? Yes, we will be tracing 48 layers in this training. Why 48 layers? Actually, 48 is a very poor number because this character only has 3 options for the hands. If, for example, you would like to animate an expressive character like the one we did for the trailer of this course, then know that just for the hands, I use 38 layers. Yep, 38 layers for each hand. That is in total 76 layers just for the expression of the hands. You can either think of it as a tedious work, but when you work imagining the emotions that your character make the audience feel, then it pays off. I do this because I imagine people laughing at the gags my friends who help me write these stories and me can come up with. And for the mouth, I used not just the 10 basic mouths for the lip sync. I also used another 10 for the upset version. A total of 20 layers just for the mouth. Why? Well, because I needed a happy version and an upset version. You might need to check the trailer again to see what I mean. Now, what about the eyes and eyebrows? Well, for the eyes, there are different techniques you can use to get your characters expressing different emotions, and what we will cover is how to do it with replacement animation. So, understand this. Trust me, 48 layers sound like much, but it isn't. And once we go step by step through each section, you will find that it's not that of a big number. Oh, and by the way, these 48 layers are just for the frontal view. If you needed more views for your character, then you need more rigs. And that is what we are going to talk about in the next lesson. The different views of your character. See you there. Hi, this is Mark Diaz for 2danimation101.com, and today I want to talk about the different views you need for a symmetrical character. Okay, first things first. There are 2 types of character, symmetrical and asymmetrical. When you're just starting, you need to stick with symmetrical characters. Symmetrical means that if you split your character vertically on half, you will get 2 identical sides. Why is this important? Because if you're doing different angles, you will only need 5 views. Frontal view, frontal 45, side view, rear 45, and rear view. And to complete the rotation, you just flip the side and 45 views. It saves you more time because it's a little bit less work. If your character is asymmetrical, that means that the clothing or props your character have on one side are different than the ones on the other side, then you need 8 designs to complete the full body rotation. Okay? So in conclusion, there are 5 basic angles for every character, and if you're starting, then you should practice with symmetrical characters. That makes your life a lot easier and allow you to experiment with other aspects of animation. What does the different views means for you as the animator? Well, it means that if you decide to cover more than one view, then you will need more than just one rig. Yep, you will need to trace each body and rig it again. But wait, the good news is that you only need the rigs for the body. The hands can be the same. Now you might have one question. How many angles, how many hands, how many face expressions do you need? That will be answered in the next lesson. The importance of using a storyboard in production. See you there. Importance of using a storyboard in production. The question we want to answer in this lesson is, how many angles, hands, or face expressions do you need? Or put it more simply, how much work will your animation need? Well, all of that will be answered by you, your imagination, and your story requirements. The more details you add to it, the better the quality and the more workload you add. The less details, the lower the quality and the less work for you. If you want to just make a test to see if you like this trip, you can keep your storyboard very simple, so you have very little work. Okay, so how do you answer with your imagination? How do you determine the story requirements, the workload you will need? Easy, you answer that with a storyboard. After you write the script, you turn that script into a storyboard. This process is not explained here in detail. For that, you will need to refer to our other course, Direct and Produce Animation, which covers this in detail. Anyway, a storyboard is the newbie's weakness. Almost all the newcomers try to animate without a plan, without a storyboard. That's animating without a visualization. That's a big no-no for directors. Never do animation without visualization. Do you want to be a good director? Learn to communicate your vision and ideas through a storyboard. And as a producer, use a storyboard to measure the workload you have ahead. This is how a storyboard helped me determine how many angles I needed for the trailer of this course. As you can see, with a storyboard, I can get a very clear idea of all the different face expressions I will need. And also, I get all the different hands I need. So all I do is take each panel and draw the hand, and then add a number to it. And so I came up with the 48 hands. For the face, I realized I needed 2 mouths, a happy version and an upset version. And as for the body angles, I realized I needed the frontal view, the left 45 view, the right 45 view, and the rear right 45 view. That's a total of 4 views. That's good. That means that I didn't have to use all the 5, but only 4 of the basic views. So you see, you definitely need a storyboard to determine how much work you're going to put into it. That way you only draw the exact number of hands you need. No more, no less. Of course, you can get creative and sometimes you add a pose and draw a new detail here and there. But the super advantage is that with a storyboard, you definitely get a very clear idea of all the drawings and tracings you will need to rig your character for animation. Great! Now this is how you determine how much your project needs. Now let's move on to the next lesson in which we will learn the importance of having good connections between the body parts. The body joints. See you there. Taking care of the joints. I wanted to include a lesson on this just to express the importance of it. Because many of my students who I train in person have this mistake, and I have to constantly remind them about taking good care of the joints. This is to save you time so you don't have to redraw or retrace parts of your characters again and again. Like some of my students, believe me, it can be frustrating. Okay, so let's jump right into it. To make the long story short, you need to think about the joints as circles. Why the circle? Why not a square or a triangle? Well, easy, because joints are used for rotation. You connect the forearm with the arm, and so the forearm can rotate. If it's connected with a circle, then the rotation works perfectly. If it's not connected through a circle, then the rotation looks crappy. See? This is the first secret. Connect body parts with a circle. Now, the next thing you need to know is, to have a perfect joint connection, you need the same circle on both hands. This happens if you don't have the same circle, or if the circles are in slightly different position. See? The rotation looks kind of good, but there is something wrong with it. This is what happens with a lot of my students. What you need to do is have the exact same circle in the exact same position when you are tracing the character. This will save you a lot of headaches further down in the process. So in the following tutorials, you will see me pay special attention to the joints, and it's because they are very important and worth mentioning. Okay? Great, let's see if you're ready to start following the next couple of tutorials. Maybe you are not going to be a great animator, or maybe you will. I will test you with one simple question in the next lesson. See you there. Okay, in the last couple of lessons, we checked the result we want to achieve with this course and why we are doing all of this. We also discovered that we are going to be drawing about 48 layers. We also learned that 48 layers is just a very basic number. And for an expressive character, we might need to trace 100 or even 200 layers. In this lesson, I want to test you to know if you really want to do animation or not. Okay, ready? Here is the test. Now that you know all the hard work you need to trace your character and prepare it for animation, all those layers, all that time drawing hands, mouths, storyboards, body angles, etc., all that work, what do you feel when you imagine yourself doing all of that? What do you feel? What do you honestly feel? Think about it. After you have an honest answer, decide for yourself if you're ready. I think these are the 3 emotional responses that you can have when you learn that animation requires a lot of work. Response number 1. You can feel very intimidated, maybe even scared, trying to figure out how you're going to put in the time to accomplish all those drawings. Emotional response number 2. You can feel excited and eager to start with this long and enjoyable journey. Emotional response number 3. You don't feel a thing, just indifference, a lot of tracing, whatever, I don't really care. If you felt number 2, excitement, or at least curiosity, then you're very likely destined to be an awesome animator with a bright future. If you have great sense of humor, great vision, then there is no doubt in my mind that you will make it as an animator. Who knows, maybe even be like Daniel Baxter and Tommy Watson, having a YouTube channel making about 40 grand a month in passive income. If you're not familiar with financial terms, passive income means that you make money even when you are sleeping. Yep, a successful YouTube channel makes them money and they can go to vacation to wherever they like, whenever they want, and then return to create new content, something they love doing. Hey, not bad for a life goal of your own. Anyway, if you felt intimidated, scared, or indifferent, then you should probably stop this right now because really, animation needs some time investment. You want to do this not for the money, but because you love the process. If you do it for the money, you will give up eventually because it really needs time and care in the little details. Of course, cutout animation definitely saves time in animation, taking about 10% of the hours it would take you if you draw each movement frame by frame. But to start saving time with cutout animation, you need to invest some hours in the preparation and rigging of your character. Every lesson will be focused on each of the different sections. One whole lesson for the head, then another lesson for the upper torso, then we will cover the lower torso. then the hips, then the arms, the legs, and then we will move to creating the different options for the hands, the feet, and finally a couple of lessons for the face, starting with the mouth, then the eyes, and finally the eyebrows and nose. Excited? From now on, I will talk to you assuming that you're ready and are excited to start this journey with me. Alright? Let's get started so you can have your own characters and maybe your own creative cartoon series. Starting from the next lesson, we will open Adobe Illustrator and start with a blank document. See you there!